How are you doing on a hump day? Welcome to the Visibility Confidence Lounge. I'm Michelle Quay. I am a visibility coach, motivational speaker, and also an author. For those of you who are interested in reading and catching up on reading, I do have a book called Perfectly Normal. Today, super excited because speaking has become one of my passion in doing, leading to what I do as a coach. I have never thought about being able to stand on a stage or being in front of the public and talk about the dreams and passion and mission I have in life. And I do this through public speaking. And so today is really meaningful to me as well as helpful. And I can't wait to meet my speaker, Elliot Kay. He is an amazing speaker. I went onto his website and I was blown away by the amount of success that he has in life. And for the last decade, Elliot has worked with business owners, entrepreneurs, doctors, and investors in all sorts of capacity in helping them to stand out with their public speaking, pitching, and looking to win in business through public speaking. I know I can learn a lot from Elliot just by listening to him. I met him before we connected on the podcast, and he is just such an amazing speaker. And there's something really unique about him that I would love for him to share with you so that you can actually stand out. Elliot's unique and effective structures, impactful delivery, and training and teaching is the language that lands. And I think this is something really valuable as a coach to be able to go out there and actually leverage your public speaking skills in leading to your clients. So without further ado, let's welcome Elliot Kay.
Hello. Hey, hello.
Hi, tell us where you're coming from, because you're coming not in California.
No, I'm sure the sun is shining and it's beautiful in California, but it's very dark where I am, only because it's nighttime. Well, it's not nighttime. It's like...
What time is it?
7 o'clock, UK. So I'm in the UK. I'm in a place called Devon in the UK. I'm by the sea. It's very beautiful. I'm almost in the California of the UK, but I'm not in California. So yes, normally people go, it's Elliot Kay from the UK. So I'm Elliot Kay from the UK. Hello, everybody. Not in the UK and in the UK. So yes, that's where I'm coming from.
It rhymes. Elliot Kay from UK.
I know. When I spoke out in Vegas a couple of years ago, it was more like 4 years ago now, I was introduced as Elliot Kay from the UK. And that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. How long have you been a public speaker?
So I guess officially over a decade. You know, I remember way back in 2010, I went to a typical seminar, 5,000 people. This guy standing on stage. No, it wasn't Tony Robbins. It was someone else. And I was like, oh, man, I can do that. So I did. I enrolled on public speaking training. I became an international trainer. And I've been doing that for a decade now, over a decade. So that's how long I've been doing it. Wow, gosh. And I'm only 21, so obviously.
No way. No way.
Yeah, I started when I was 11.
No way.
No, of course not. I'm joking. Of course I'm not 21. I'm 22.
What inspired you to become a speaker so early in your age?
Well, actually, to be completely honest, I was more like 30 when it actually kicked in. But I did start dancing when I was 21, and that's true. That is the truth. What inspired me to go down this path was the ability to impact a huge amount of people quickly. Also, when I watched this guy completely move and mesmerize a room, I was like, wow, you know, I want to be able to do that. So I was highly inspired. It's also one of the greatest forms of marketing you can ever do. And, you know, we believe in helping people not only be more giraffe, but also to use their voice for good. And what greater way to use your voice for good than to stand on stage and use speaking, public speaking. And so, yes, that's what inspired me to go. And I've never looked back. Mm-hmm. Been going ever since.
I think what's really stood out for me is how you had that idea of you wanting to impact more people. And I know as a coach, when I first got my certification, I was thinking, well, all I have to do is just reach out to one person at a time, right? But then it never occurred to me that, if I'm speaking one person in one day, I can speak to 1,000 people in one day. Which one do I want to do more of? I think it would be speaking to 1,000 people in just one day. It would save me tons of time.
Right. Right.
And you touched one really important key point is the giraffe, the idea of a giraffe. Can you tell us more about the giraffe?
Hello. So this is the original Be More Giraffe. So very quickly, a bit of background on that. Do excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. So last year we did some research with our database, and we asked, what's your biggest problem? What's your greatest challenge, etc. And they came back with all these answers. And at the time I was working with my content manager, and she's telling me all these things that were going on. I was like, I think people want to be more giraffe. And I literally picked up the giraffe like this. And she went, yep, that's it. That's our marketing messaging. It's all about standing out. It's all about sticking your neck out. It's all about daring to be seen for the right reasons. That is what Be More Giraffe is all about. And that's what it's all about. And I've now released the book, How to Stand Out and Speak and Be More Giraffe, which, we released this year. And that's what this is all about. Look, when you stand on stage, you're instantly elevated, whether it's the virtual stage or the current stage, right? It's on offline stage. So immediately elevated. However, when you're using your voice for good and you deliver it in an impactful, powerful manner, when you're using speaking to enroll and emotionally educate people, but also educate people in a different way that their life can be better. And that goes across industries. It can go across the entrepreneurial industry, business owners, coaches, right? If you want to be visible, one of the best ways to do that is speaking. Now, what's really important is the 3 key things is having a structure that gives you freedom of expression. It's using the language that lands on your audience, because a lot of people tend to talk from their own experience versus how it lands as a listener, as an audience. And the last thing is impactful delivery, right? So if you want to be more giraffe, really think of those key things. What's a structure that allows me to express myself? How do I deliver in a way that's impactful? And of course, what's the right language that lands in the right way? Now, we get that a lot. We get, well, where do I start? Or even speakers who are highly established, they often get one thing wrong and they become informational conveyors. So they convey information. They just blat out information. One of the greatest ways to be more giraffe is to tell stories. Now, of course, what story do you start with? Well, let me tell you. Start with your personal story. Now, does that mean that you just reveal all the dark skeletons in your closet and go through everything that went wrong in your life? Not at all. That is not what I'm saying. Choose the most appropriate part from your personal story that magnifies that you get the problem of the audience, that you have the solution, and either you're living proof of that solution or you're the person to deliver that solution. And again, that works across industries. That works recruitment, consulting, creative industries. It works coaches, trainers, I said consultants. I've done this across the spectrum. I've worked with investors, you name it. When you follow that formula of using the most appropriate part of your story to impact and empower, to educate, to enroll, and you use a structure that gives you the freedom to express yourself, delivered in an impactful way, you're going to be more giraffe. That's a fact. That's a fact. I've got the science to prove it. And that's what I mean when I talk about that, right? And that's really what it means to be more giraffe. It's also standing for something, Michelle, because a lot of people can be afraid to stand for something, can be afraid of the blowback. We live in a very ruthless culture now. You can easily be cancelled. One wrong tweet, one wrong message, one wrong, but it's daring to stand for something. It's daring to be okay with blowback, assuming you're not, standing for something that's really, really bad. That's not okay.
I think one of the fear for not being able to stand up And I hear this a lot from the members in the group, where they feel that if I were to share my personal stories, it's going to offend some people. It's going to sound like a big turnoff for a lot of my friends, relatives, or people who doesn't agree with them. And there's that idea of I want to include everybody.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
Right. Let's look at this. Number one, let's look at why you use speaking, right? You use speaking for two reasons. Well, more than two reasons, but let's focus on two. You use speaking to sell your services, to sell your product, your brand, to sell yourself. Like it or not, if you're speaking, you're selling. Whatever you say, it doesn't matter. The moment on stage, you're selling. No, you're either the sale goes on that people will buy from you, or the sale goes on that people don't buy from you. Either way, there's a sale. The other reason, of course, we use speaking is to get paid, right? Now, are your friends and or your family the people that are going to buy your services? Well, probably not. Are your friends or family people that are likely to pay you to speak? Maybe, right? But here's what I say. There's ways to communicate things in a way that might not offend your friends or family. But the other thing is to be able to communicate it in a way that is real and congruent to you. And you know what? If your friends and family can't handle what you have to share, you lovingly keep moving forwards. I have this a lot. I've worked with a variety of people with a variety of backgrounds. I've worked with a sleep expert that used to be a prostitute, right? I've worked with ex-drug addicts that now run successful businesses. I've worked with people that have been to prison, again, and have built successful businesses. And we always get to this point, what part of my story do I share? And I say, you share the most appropriate part that will help sell your business. So the sleep expert that used to be a prostitute, we never share his part of that. You know, he never shares that part of his story because it's not relevant to selling sleep. I mean, if he was focusing on male escorts or he was focusing on the prostitution industry, maybe. So it is about picking the most appropriate parts. And I think you have to understand that when you stand for something greater, when you stand for something that's bigger than you, then actually all these details subside. Or you pre-warn your friends and family, say, look, I'm about to share my story. You might not like what you have to hear, but this is my truth, and I hope you can respect that, and I hope you can support me. Now, the chances are most will go, okay. And if they can't, then either you need to do some work together to get over it, or you might need to just lovingly keep moving forward. So for everybody in the group that might be hesitating, things like that, we say this: only ever share a story from a healed scar, never an open wound. So if that wound is still open, don't share, right? If it's going to be far more detrimental to your business or to your profile, to your brand, than it will be by sharing it, don't share it. So it's about picking and choosing, right? Now, I'm very open. You know, I know offline you're like, what can I talk about? What can I not talk about? I talk about very openly. Again, depends on the talk I'm giving. But when I was 12, I was raped by another man, right? And I talk very openly about that with the right audience. Now, when I go to do my other talks, I don't necessarily go, hi, my name is Elliot Kay. I'm a professional speaker. I've got 10,000 hours of speaking. Oh, by the way, I was raped by a man, right? But when I do talks about confidence, about rebuilding your life, about forgiveness, then I'll bring that story in. And let me just be clear. I tell that story from an empowered place. I don't tell that place from a place of any hurt. I'm very aware of what happened to me. You know, I know what happened. I take full responsibility in the sense that I'm at cause with it, not that it was my fault. And that's a big difference, right? So I'm okay with that because that's a healed scar, right? I talk very openly about my dad's alcoholism. I talk very much about my dyslexia, right? So anything that might be tabooed, I don't have any issues with because I've worked on it. Now, if it's still for you a trigger or something, then don't share it, right? Don't. Is my answer. Only share what's appropriate and what will magnify your greatness.
Mhm. So as someone who's structuring what they want to share and the topic they want to share, let's say they're still at that stage of confusion. I really don't know what to talk about and what my topic is, or what problem I'm helping people solving. What would be some of the suggestion that you have to help someone to move forward, or just breaking that point?
Yeah, so what I suggest you do is something we call it the core message structure, and it's very simple. It's 4 words. It's no problem, solution, results. And I'll talk you through that. So that's no problem, solution, results. It's about condensing the essence of everything that you do, you stand for, the problem you solve into a very easy, digestible structure, which allows you to express yourself. Now, you can call this an elevator pitch if you want, but it's not. It's the core message, because when we've done this with people and they've got it right, they've gone and changed their copy on their website. They've changed lots about it. It becomes the spine of their talks. So it goes no problem, solution, results. So it's something like this. We know dot dot dot. The problem is dot dot dot. Our solution is dot dot dot, which results in dot dot dot. Or you do in I know dot dot dot. The problem is dot dot dot. Our solution, or my solution is dot dot dot, which results in dot dot dot. Right? So the we know is a statement of expertise from your understanding, from your experience, from your industry. Then the problem is, what you want to do is the 3 big juicy problems that your ideal client or your ideal audience is thinking. Then your solution is your unique solution. And then what is the results your solution brings? So ours sounds like, we know that most entrepreneurs and business owners are leaving money on the table by not using speaking as a marketing strategy and as a revenue stream. The problem is, a lot of people do not understand how to position themselves, how to use speaking for marketing, and how to do it effectively. Our solution is the speaker's method and our unique courses, which magnify your greatness, which results in you standing on stage, being seen as the go-to authority in your industry, therefore monetizing your speaking while growing your business. Right? So that's what the structure looks and sounds like. It took us about 50 times to write that before we got to that. But once you understand the structure, then it allows you to completely be able to position yourself. So again, we know, or I know, dot, dot, dot. The problem is dot, dot, dot. Our solution, or my solution, is dot, 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 which results in dot, dot, dot. That's a really simple, easy structure that you can use to really condense exactly what you do, how you do it, and what you stand for. And that's the structure I'd like to share.
I love that. Right now, I'm listening to you. I think I need to go back and look at my signature speech.
Signature talk. That's, yeah, for signature talk, there's a different structure. I can give you the structure if you want for that as well. But that's a really nice, easy structure. Again, that structure can use as a talk structure as well, by all means. But what we do is we use it to really create something short and snappy for that structure.
Mm-hmm. What do you see how this speaking world is evolving after COVID? Like it used to be like you're on the stage, all in front of the audience, right? Has it changed in any single bit in terms of how you're speaking or how you're reaching out to people?
Yeah, I think there's some great stuff that's come out of this, right, Michelle? I mean, we're connecting. I've done talks around the world from my office, right? This is my office, but yeah, I visited. I'm in America now. I've been to India. I'm going to be in India again next year. So in a way, it's made the world flat. That's what's happened as a result of the pandemic. And now you start to think in time zones versus countries, for example. That's how it's changed. Hybrid events are here to stay, so there'll always be an element of people watching virtual as much as people in the room. There's a lot more virtual summits happening right now, so your ability to deliver on camera has to go up a level. The equipment that you use has to be top notch now. People aren't forgiving anymore if you don't do a good Zoom. They're not. If the light isn't good, all that, they're just, people aren't forgiving if the sound's not good, because you've had long enough to adapt. No excuses, right? Mm-hmm. But what I am seeing, I mean, in the UK, where we've been out of lockdown for months and hopefully we'll stay out of lockdown, is people are hungry for live events again. They don't want the virtual. They want that experience of being in the room. And that's new. So for example, at the end of this month, I'm doing a virtual training. And while we've had a really good uptake, I know a lot of people are coming back to me going, when's the live event happening? So there's a real hunger for it. The other thing that's changed, so what's changed is hybrid events. What's changed is how flat the earth has become. I'm not saying the conspiracy, by the way. I'm not talking about the conspiracy flat earth. I'm just talking metaphorically. So I'm not getting involved in the flat earth argument, right? That you have to up your game on camera. But what I've also noticed, I don't know if you notice as well, is how much hungrier people are for connection and community. That's one thing that's certainly shifted. And the speaking world is the same. So I'm just going to quickly blow my nose.
Yeah, Ellie has a cold.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold. Sorry, my kids gave it to me. I blame my kids. It's their fault. So, and I didn't want to do it on camera. I mean, I didn't want to do it on the mic because that's just not cool, is it? So, and that's something that's changed, is this craving for connection and community. And I feel that what happened is almost overnight, everybody became a speaker, right? Because everybody went online. Everybody had to speak to camera. Everybody had to, so everybody's become a speaker. So it's become noisy, not good noise always, which is why it's important that you be more giraffe. Otherwise, you're just going to blend in. So those are some things that have changed in terms of the speaking world. Budgets haven't changed. There's still budgets. There's still demand for speakers. In fact, there's more demand for speakers because there's more virtual events. There's a lot more demand for unpaid speakers, but that's where you need to be clever and be able to sell. And those are some of the key differences I've noticed.
Which one is more challenging, do you think? Is it the virtual speaking, or is it the in-person speaking? Like, what's the difference? Like, how would it be different?
I think they're both challenging in separate. I mean, I love live events, obviously, because you get the live energy. So, you know, when you're on camera, you can't always feed off the energy, which is you rely a lot more of creating it in your head. So when I look in the camera, I'm always imagining people smiling, people laughing. You know, when you're doing on camera, you have to pull people in a lot more, which is why you have to create engagement every second or third slide. Give me a yes, give me a Y in the chat, type, give me a woohoo, right? So they're still engaged in some way. Give me a hands up. Of course, you do that in a live room, but in a live room, you can really read the room. You can see if the energy is dipping. You can't quite always do that. But actually, the more I've done it, the more I can pick that up on camera too. The other thing, you know, the biggest difference obviously is not getting that live feedback. For me, neither is hard. It's just a different delivery. So I felt the beginning of the pandemic that I was fighting for the industry. I was going, look, nothing's changed. You're just delivering it through the camera. You're just delivering it through a microphone. That's the difference. Speaking is still speaking, right? That's a fact. And so for me, it's just a different way of doing it. So if someone's a sprinter and if someone's a marathon runner, how you execute is different. It's the same with camera. It's the same with speaking. How you execute to camera is different to how you execute live, but they both have their own uniqueness and their own challenges. But for me, neither is hard. Yeah.
How about with some of the people, the folks that you're working with? Do they ever come to you and say, you know, Elliot, I really believe that speaking is going to expand my business, it's going to get me out there, but I just don't like how I look on camera.
Yeah, we get that, how I look, how I sound. I mean, I get that off camera too, by the way. It doesn't have to be on camera. Yeah, we get that. And again, I think there's several things. Number one, you have to tie into a greater cause, a greater calling, something greater than yourself. Because the moment you're saying that, you're making about you and not the people you can serve, not the people you can help, right? The other thing is, look, I don't like the way I sound. I don't always like the way I look. But you get over it, right? Because it's about something bigger than you, greater than you. And more than anything, it's about the gratitude of it. You know, it's like, hey, you should, you know, just be grateful that you have these attributes that You know, there's speakers out there that don't have the stuff you don't like, and they're still speaking, or they're still putting themselves out there. So again, it's about the gratitude. But we get that all the time because we're human beings, and obviously, as human beings, we often focus on our, I don't call them imperfections because we're perfectly imperfect, but we often focus on what we don't like. And something I advise people to do is watch yourself as if you're watching another speaker. How would you give them feedback? If you're watching your best friend speaking, would you be going, oh, you know, your voice is a bit squeaky, or, you know, no, that doesn't quite work. No, you'd be like, hey, I really like what you did, but, you know, I really think you can do better like this. And that's what I advise people. If they're going to watch themselves, listen to themselves, listen as if you're listening to your best friend. How would you give them feedback? And if it's, you know, stuff that can be changed, change it. Change what you wear. Change the kind of lighting. That's weird. You know, work with a color stylist that will help magnify the bits, the good stuff, right? When you know, I do bring in a color stylist to work with the people I work with because it's so important to understand the psychology of color when it comes to presenting. So yeah. There you go.
It's the whole package thing, the whole branding thing that people remember you. And that's another reason why stand out being the giraffe. You want to stand out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the quote that you have shared. Bravery is accepting that we perfectly imperfect, finding beauty in our scars, and that it is okay to fail with the intention of succeeding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. And I think, you know, being brave, you know, because I love that you asked that question, is going, hey, I'm perfectly imperfect, right? I've got these scars and I'm okay. And that happened because of this, and that happened because of this. And even if it's emotional scars, and we're all going to fail. It's how we pick ourselves up, right? I mean, okay, maybe not all. We'll get that 0.00001% person that doesn't ever fail. But in real life, you know, for the majority of us, failure is part of success. And being brave is going, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I might fall on my face. I might bomb. I might tell a joke and no one laughs. I might sell and no one buys. I might stand up and no one listens. Cool. Right. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to keep moving forwards. And that's bravery. I think the notion of bravery has shifted. I think the paradigm of being brave has shifted. Of course, being brave, like if I stood in front of a car to save a child, that's brave. If I ran into the building, of course, that's brave. Like never taking away from that. But everyday bravery, everyday heroes are those who bear their scars for the greater good. Everyday heroes are those who dare to fail to succeed. For me, everyday bravery is those who are willing to continuously do what it takes so we live in a better world. And that is, to me, what bravery is.
Yeah. Oh, so beautifully said. And as you're describing, you know, all the process of failing and how we finally figure out like what worked, what didn't work, it always remind me of my workshop, my first time workshop. No one came, 0 people came. And it was heartbreaking. But then also learn from that experience where I need to double check and proofread all my flyers that went out, making sure that there's actually a date that people can show up.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. What a lesson.
Exactly. And I know you brought some gift for our audience. Tell us about the Speaker Express scorecard.
Yeah. So what that is, it's your opportunity to find out how influential you are currently as a speaker. Right. So it'll take you about 3 minutes. It's 30 questions. And we ask you various questions around where you are with your confidence, with your signature talk, with your ability to get booked and get paid. And then you get a personalized score. So it's your score, but also we'll send you a report, which is full of how you can improve each area. So it's based around the 6 key areas. So it's based around what's behind me, the speaker's method. And then within it, it's full of tips and advice. And, you know, wherever you are, just take as a snapshot and a stepping stone towards where you want to go. So you might get mid-30s. Cool. Yay. how do I get to the 60s, 70s, and 80s? You might get a 70 and an 80. Great. How do I get to 90s, 100? Right. And that's the gift. And, you know, you will then hear from us. But if you don't hear from us after that, you just unsubscribe. That's fine. But we'll send you that report. And, you know, I hope it helps you take those stepping stones towards being more giraffe in your industry, standing out, being an authority, and being the go-to person that always uses their voice for good. And yes, I did point. You use your voice for good.
Pointing is always something that's controversial on the video. Don't point it.
I'm very rude.
I just shared the link inside the chat, so feel free to grab it. It sounds like a great assessment that I would personally wanted to take, you know, for sure, to see where I'm at and just to know and how I can improve. And also, I will leave that in the episode notes so that everyone can download and go grab it. And I will also include your website. So where can people find you?
They can find me on, I think the best thing is probably to go to speakerexpress.co.uk. That would be for my training stuff. And then if you want the speaking stuff, it's just elliotkay.com. So those are the two. It's very ELLIOTKAY, spelled correctly. Yeah, ELLIOTKAY.com. So that's for me as a speaker. And then the Speaker Express is for the training. Yeah, so it's... and if I can help in any way, just drop me a line, hello@speakerexpress.co.uk, and just say, hey, saw you in the interview with Michelle, got a question, and I'll answer. I mean, as long as it's a reasonable question. If you ask me what the nuclear breakdown of an atom is, you probably won't get an answer. But if it's to do with public speaking or anything like that, you'll get an answer as well.
And ladies, definitely check out his website, his work. It's amazing. You know, the whole reason why I really wanted to reach out and connect with him was because I saw all the amazing work that he's been doing, and it really inspired me, wanted to do more. And so he's my role model right now.
Oh, yay. Thanks, Michelle. That's nice to hear.
And I am so honored to have you here. I know your time is precious, and thank you so much for bringing so much value and sharing so much in terms of the structure of how to create a public speaking and their writing their content and just coming out to the camera and talk about it. That's just amazing. Thank you so much, Elliot.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Michelle.
I'm going to put you to the backstage so I can wrap up the show. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching and listening to this week's podcast. And I will see you again in the next week's episode, where I am inviting more guests to come and share something very valuable so that you can build on your visible coaching business. I'll see you then. Bye.